Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and it's not often that you get a chance to talk to a true icon, but today I'm on the phone with just that. Paul Weller's career began over 40 years ago with the Jam. The 80s were spent with the iconic Style Council, and since then he's enjoyed an incredibly prolific solo career. He's about to release his 15th studio record called On Sunset, and is kind enough to take some time to talk about it. Welcome, Paul Weller. Welcome, Paul.
Hello. How are you doing? Welcome to you.
Thanks. Thank you. Now let's start with the new record, On Sunset. When you began putting the material together, did you have a specific direction or sound in mind? You know, because with Mirrorball and Earthbeat, it's a little more of an electronic record, and then with some of the others, like More is a little bit more lush in the orchestration. Did you have a specific sound in mind?
Well, I think possibly like in sort of vague sort of notions, and I wanted it to be quite soulful sounding, but at the same time I wanted to have a kind of electronic edge in places as well. And then I suppose just to be able to show, to show play to our capabilities really, and beyond our capabilities, and with it and using the desk and the equipment, and the band, and I think everyone was on top of their game. That's what I think, and I think that because we've all played together as a band for such a long time.
And it really gels together. Yeah.
So I think it's and this team, like the producer and the engineer, the same team, and I think it's I just think we're all really up for it, and just thought we'll see where we can try and take this.
And Earthbeat is the first single. It's been out for a while now, and it's really resonated well with the fans. And just sonically, it's a bit different from the sound that the casual fan may expect from you. Do you feel like a freedom in being at this point in your career where you can experiment with sounds and know that your fan base is willing to join you on that ride?
Well, I never know that. I never know if they're willing to. I mean, I always hope it will come with me. You can never obviously guarantee that, I mean, that's fair enough. Sometimes there'll be some records that my fans don't like, and others they do. I mean, that's fair enough. I understand that. But really, I kind of do it. I really I have to do it anyway for myself, which sounds incredibly selfish, and maybe it is. I don't know, but it's. I just don't like the sort of kind of repeating myself, which is inevitable at times. Obviously, if you've been doing it a long time, but as much as possible, I try not to repeat what I've just done, and then move on and just or take it somewhere a little bit different. So I really do it for myself, to be honest with you, and I just have to hope that other people like it and come with it,
Well, it's funny. That reminds me, there's always a quote from David Bowie that struck with me where he said that, he never quite understood the public fascination with all of his changes. He kind of chalked it up to the cosmetic and visual, but he said when it came to the music, it's just a natural result of an artist exploring and evolving. I mean, do you kind of feel that way, that each record and each incarnation of your career is just a natural evolution?
Well, it seems pretty natural to me, because it was obviously whether I agree with it now but at the time, whatever period of time, it was something that I believed in at the time, and that's what I wanted to do, and I've always just been led by that, really. And at the same token, I can look back at certain periods and think, well, that's a really bad period. The songs were bad, or the songs weren't strong, and I didn't really have nothing to say. I should have left it then. So, but that's just having an overview, isn't it? That's just having 60 odd plus years of looking back on that. But at the time, it was just whatever, good or bad, that's what I wanted at the time. That's where my head was at, and that's all you can really do, I think, unless you're like a sort of hit machine or some sort of pop thing or something where you're purposely making music for an audience. But really, I'm just kind of just seeing where I can go as a writer and as a musician, and all those things, really.
And what kind of it inspires you to look for that? I mean, you've never been one to look back. You've never really been one to, chase a trend. You're usually the guy that starts them. what is it that, this long into your career to put out an album as strong as this and as varied as this, what inspires you to move forward?
Well, God, I think essentially just how much I love music still.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of undiminished for me, and I probably have a greater appreciation of it now than I did when I was a kid, But nevertheless, it's still the inspiration from it, from the time I can remember till now, is immense, And so that alone makes me still want to make music and try and see if I can be as good as some of the people that have influenced me. If I can even get to there.
And do you still listen to a lot of new music? I mean, I know, Noel Gallagher's on this record, and, your influence over that Brit pop generation was enormous. Do you still listen to new stuff as it comes out?
Yeah, I try to, I mean, I don't slavishly, but I mean, I'm also lucky because I've got kids of varying ages.
Mm-hmm.
So they're always playing new stuff as well, So I kind of get through a lot of different things. So I've got very eclectic taste, and that's good. So, and then, I suppose as opposed to the days when we used to go in each other's houses and take records and play them, you just send me tracks on the internet now or on your phone. So there's all that going on, and I'm just always amazed at how much music I haven't listened to. I mean? I think of all the stuff I have heard, and I just think, and then you hear a bunch of other stuff, new and old, and you think, oh my God, there's still so much I've never heard.
Mm-hmm. Always discovering something new.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
And you're not an artist.
She's strange.
Yeah. You're not the kind of artist that releases a live record after every tour. So when you do put one out, it's kind of a special thing. And last year, you put out the Other Aspects record, which featured just, some traditional instruments and an orchestra and some really unique arrangements.
Yeah.
Do you see a live record like that as sort of marking a period in your career that allows you to start something new with the next release?
No, I don't really. No, I don't. It was just a document of, cause we only played those two shows, right, when we did that live record. We only played two shows with this orchestra at the place called the Royal Festival Hall. So we filmed it and recorded it. But I just wanted it documented, really, because I thought we probably ain't going to do this too many times in our life. So I wanted to have some kind of, some document left of it.
And
but that was just such a brilliant experience as well. It was such a weird but also wonderful experience to play with an orchestra like that.
Yeah, and and in your career too, you really have never had that many people on stage with you. I mean, what did it feel like having just that whole orchestra and all of those instruments backing you?
I felt like one of them old sort of like Alexander the Great, right, with all this sort of army behind you. It felt, I felt safe. I felt pretty safe up there. I could see the point of being in a big band because it's like, there's quite a few of us. We're all right, safety in numbers. But it was, I was, to be honest with you, I was just like, wow. You know what I mean? I kept looking around to see all these classical musicians. And all our the way our band had been elongated. I just thought how wonderful it was, to be honest. I couldn't quite sort of believe it.
Now, I've talked to a number of British artists about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which at least until recent years, it's always tended to skew towards bands that had success in the U.S. But I think that's changed a little bit over the last couple of years. And I know, I've spoken with John Lodge and Rod Argent. Both of them said they had no idea what it really was until they got there. Have you ever given it a second thought when it comes to the Jam or the Style Council and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I don't know. Oh, that sounds really awful. I don't know enough about it. Of course, I've heard of it, but I don't really understand what it is.
Well, and it's funny, like I said, that kind of seems to be what I hear a lot from British artists. And you kind of put that on the hall, that they really need to let you guys know what this is. Because, I mean, I know at least here in the U.S., we always hear a lot about, when they talk about who should be in, Jam and Style Council are two bands that always come up, from your fans. Just wonder if it was anything that you had ever thought about.
No, I've never given it a thought. I just don't know enough about it, and I don't need validating by anyone really. But yeah, those things don't really mean much to me, to be honest with you. And I'm not sort of being a killjoy or being miserable. I don't really get it, I don't get the whole awards thing. I mean, I do go to them sometimes because it's a bit of a night out for me and missus. But I don't know, what does it all mean? I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like this thing, they have a Publishers Award over in this country called the Ivor Novello Award, right, for writers and songwriters. And I won something a few years ago anyway from it. But I was just saying to people, I was going, but who the fuck's Ivor Novello, man? I've never heard of him. And what songs has he written, and do I know them,
Right.
Of which no one can answer me. So
it's like, the big hit.
It's a little bit mean. If it had been the sort of Lennon McCartney Award, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll have some of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we'd definitely be remiss if we didn't talk about the current state of the world and the pandemic. You have some tour dates already set for On Sunset. Any idea what's going to be happening with your summer tour in Europe, or any dates after that?
It's all completely off. We had to cancel all of it. Well, not just us, but all the promoters cancelled. So, yeah, pretty much all of it. We've got one UK tour in October, which I don't think is going to happen either. But basically, we've rescheduled everything, or in the process of rescheduling everything for next year. So that's as much as I know, really.
I mean, just kind of taking a look at the way things are now, do you see yourself being able to tour for this record, or do you see yourself maybe putting out something new next year and then touring on that?
I really don't know, Jeff. I don't know, because I've been sort of thinking about all those things. The new record's obviously still coming out when it comes out, and we'll promote it as best we can. Front runners out, but we'll try and do something for it. But then, because of this lockdown, I've had so much free time that I've started writing now. So I've kind of got like half an album's worth of tunes on the go. So I'm half thinking about whether I could, put another record out next year as well. But I don't know. We shall see.
And again, we just mentioned, the record is called On Sunset. It'll be out on June 12th. And you have all kinds of physical copies as well as digital downloads and things like that.
Yeah.
As someone who kind of, came up with, vinyl and then cassettes and CDs, what's your take on sort of where music is now that, it's 90% digital and, you have to have all these special versions to get people to buy something physical?
Yeah. Well, I probably have two different thoughts to that. One is I'm glad because we're still making vinyl and we're able to put I'm able to put my records out on vinyl, which will always be the format for me. But that's just the one I've grown up with. That's all. And the cassette thing, I don't know, man. It's weird, but I'm quite happy to see it on cassette. But I can't imagine how you play it because I don't know anyone who's got a cassette machine anymore. You know what I mean? But I don't mind. Maybe the 8-track cartridges, Nick.
There you go.
Or them big old fucking 78 fucking shellac records or something. But the digital thing, what can I say? I mean, that's what it is. It is what it is, man. And whether I like it or not, or we all moan about not getting paid by Spotify and all the rest of it, it is what it is. And we've got two choices. You either go with it or you stop making music, and the last option ain't going to happen. So as long as I see my record on vinyl, I don't mind. As long as I personally got a copy on vinyl, man, I'm happy.
There you go. Well, again, the record is On Sunset. I've been talking with the amazing Paul Weller. And Paul, thank you so much for taking some time today. The record's out June 12th. Hopefully we'll be able to see you on tour, even over here in the States at some point, maybe next year. So We look forward to it. And again, thank you. Best of luck with the record. It's a really strong piece of work. Hopefully everyone grabs a copy and listens. And we'll talk soon.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Yeah. Take care.
Thank you. Yep. Bye.
Bye, man. Bye.